Yeah. Hey, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome, welcome. Hey, welcome to a weekly dose of Lady J. Lady J. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you all were able to hear the music. I don't know if you were. If you were, let me know. Let me know if you were able to hear it. If you were able to hear it. Good evening. Can you hear me? Good evening, everybody. Now I'm not playing music. It's done. No, a few minutes ago. No, not playing music now. But can you hear me clearly? Can you all hear me? The music is done. I already played the music. You couldn't hear it though when I was playing it. Y'all let me know if you could. You can hear me, but if you saw the introduction, were you able to hear the music? Were you able to hear the music? No, maybe. Hey, Dynaста, Marvin, Crystal, good evening. Oh, you could not hear the music. Okay. I think I have to work something out on my end. How's the lighting? Are you all able to see me? You couldn't really hear the music. Okay. Hey, Mama. My mother is here, y'all. Good evening, Mom. I'm going to give us a few minutes to come on in the room. How is everybody doing? How's everybody doing? It's been good, good, good. I'm happy the lighting looks good. Good, good, good. So the whole story behind the lighting piece is I simply needed a brand new computer. My computer died on me Sunday. I think it was Sunday. And all this time, I was thinking that I needed to invest in new lights and all that jazz. And it turned out that all I needed was a new computer. Who would have thunk it? A new computer. And it has made a difference. Y'all can see me perfectly. Do I look okay? I look cute? That's so vain. I just want to know if I look, it's been a long day, y'all. It's been a long day. Thank you so much for bearing with me. I needed a break last week. A lot has been going on in my life, in the world. And for those of you who don't know, I am a mental health therapist. I was a performing artist. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. You say you could see me. The lighting is great. I look gorgeous. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Dynasty. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you. I was video chatting with Curtis earlier today. Well, we did a Marco Polo before I was early in the morning. Curtis is really good for sending me Marco Polos early. Yes, I'm putting you out there, Curtis. And so this is my homie, my homeboy, and I was looking a hot mess right before going into prayer and meditation, looking a mess. And so I probably look different tonight. But anyway, thank you. Oh my God, that make me feel so good. I look forward to the one thing I look forward to on Wednesday nights is getting dressed up because I'm still quarantining and still practicing sheltering in place, conducting my sessions online. So it has been quite the journey. So what I was saying was, I love you too, Curtis. What I was saying was, uh, it's been very, very stressful, a stressful time. And last week, I needed a break. Thank you for bearing with me. I was concerned about the momentum, but then I decided, hey, if people are with me, they're with me. They're going to continue to watch. And as long as I'm authentic and ultimately consistent, people will stay with me. So, and who's with me is with me, and who's not, they're not. So I'm not necessarily here for numbers, although it's cool. But I am here to make an impact and to make a difference. So be very clear about that. So thank you so much. If you would be so kind, though, I do think that part of being a voice and making a difference in the world is spreading, the word. So if you could like and share this broadcast tonight, that would be great. If you could like it and share it for me, pass it along, tell somebody to get on. Tonight, we're going to continue what I started talking about 2 weeks ago, which was reinventing you. And the intention is to dive into 4 domains. And I talked about 2 domains on 2 weeks ago. And tonight, as a matter of fact, let me just kind of go over. We talked about, or I talked about self, um, relationship with self and others, and career is what we talked about 2 weeks ago. And tonight, I want to talk about spirituality and the physical aspect of our being, physical, diet, um, uh, all of that jazz. Before I do that, I have a great lineup for the month of July. It won't just be me talking the whole time. You know, you guys know that this is a talk show, but I want to also give you all an opportunity to know my heart and to know who I am. So I think part of that is being able to do shows without having guests all the time. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things I want you all to do tonight is if you have questions tonight, things come up, I do want you to be interactive. I do love interaction. If you can, if there's something that comes up for you during this time that we're sharing and talking, please put it in the chat. Please let me know. And I will get to it. I will get to it and see what we can come up with. So as I was saying, it's a stressful time. It's a stressful time in which we're living. It's intensity all around us. And one of the things that I am learning to hold fast to like never before is my spiritual walk with God, spirituality. And I realize that that takes on many different looks, or it manifests differently for so many people. So I'm not here tonight to try to tell you how to do and how to connect with God and with the creator, with your higher power. I'm not here for that. I am here to definitely give cause and to suggest that during this time, that spirituality, along with taking care of our bodies, is a definite way to connect, to stay connected, and to really, really practice self-care. And it's a way to reinvent yourself. And I talked about during this time of quarantine that this is an opportunity for us to reinvent who we are. And that's to take something that maybe was, a little dusty, need a little help, dust it up a little bit, and make it look pretty again. Polishing it, investing in it, spending time making it great, reinventing, making it look brand new. And that's kind of what I want you to kind of be thinking about tonight. How do I continue to make myself? Re is doing, the re means to do things over again, and again, and do it over again, and to redo. And at this time, I think that we all will benefit from a redo. It's an introspective time. I have never been so, I'm very much so in tune with my emotions and my feelings and my bias, and my anger and my frustration. I'm the things that bring me peace. I'm very aware and attached, or aware, rather. That's a better word. Aware and attuned. That's what I'm trying to say. Attuned to what's going on with me emotionally. Does anybody feel that kind of way? Does anybody feel like a heightened awareness of or sensitivity of where they are, how they're feeling, their emotions? Anybody feeling that way? Yes, maybe. So I'm looking in the comments. I'll pause here for a second. Can anybody attest to that? How are y'all feeling? How are you all feeling tonight? Okay. It's all right if you're not able to respond. Okay. Like I was saying, it is a very intense time. and I'm aware of what's going on. So we're going to dive into what we're going to talk about tonight. A little weary. Yes, a little weary. Yes. Yeah, we all are. And one of the things that I want this show to be is a breath of fresh air. I want you to leave the show feeling encouraged, and feeling like an overcomer, like you can succeed, you will succeed. I want you to, that's one of the intentions of this show as well. So for the month of July, I haven't lost my place. For the month of July, we have some dynamic guests that are going to be coming on the show. Say, yes, you've been crying like a little girl. It's okay. It's okay to cry. It really is. Somebody said, "Oh, Marvin, it really is okay to cry." And as a matter of fact, there's a lot of cleansing power and strength in releasing tears. And I was telling one of my clients today, often what we try to do is we try to escape uncomfortable emotions and feelings. We don't want to feel them. We try to, move past it or jump over it. And I don't know if you all saw the movie. It was a Disney movie. I think it was Disney Pixar, Inside Out. And one of the beauties of the movie Inside Out, the character Riley had gone through this major transition in her life. Her family had moved from one place to another city, from one city to another city, and it was devastating to her. And she left all of her friends, and she was trying this whole time to stay happy and joyful. And it wasn't really what she was really experiencing on the inside. She was hurting. She was in pain. So long story short, she ended up collapsing and having this breakdown because she ignored sadness, she ignored anger, she ignored disgust, she ignored all of these other emotions that are valid. She ignored it because she felt this tendency to always want to be happy. And can I say to you, one of the things that I learned, I was raised in the church, grew up in the church, and people ask you, "How you doing?" You said, one of the popular sayings was, "I'm blessed and I'm highly favored. I'm on top, and I'm on top of the world, and praise God, I'm saved and sanctified and filled with the Holy Ghost." And one of the things that would frustrate me often when I was approached with the question how I was doing was, are you really ready to hear? Or do you really have the space to hold what I'm really, really feeling? And do I have to be happy all the time? I gave my client today, I gave an example. I said, if somebody comes and punches you in your face, punches you real hard, just lays you out, and you start laughing when it's done, or the person starts laughing, what are you thinking about that person? She said, well, that's kind of weird out. That's weird. That's like cray cray. Because the emotional response after being hit in the face is what? To cry, to be angry. And I think what happens is we try to negate those feelings and those emotions. And trust me, when you ignore it, it comes back. We start trying to do and compensate for the things that we have not yielded to, those emotions that we have not yielded to. We start looking for ways to express those emotions through some bad habits, through unhealthy relationships, through distorted thinking, because we don't allow ourselves to go through. And I was telling them, emotions a lot of times they're like waves. They have, lows and they have peaks, but they're passing, they're fleeting. They're fleeting, and it's okay to let it be. It's okay. And I'm not talking about just being, all over the place and not having any control. I'm talking to those of us who like to control what we're experiencing. And if there's any discomfort, if there's any sadness, we dismiss it, or we demonize it, or we have a fear and we condemn it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, mom, I didn't see Mom Butler's on here. And we demonize it. And I'm suggesting to us that we are definitely in a place, in a time, in a season where the world has like, it's still not as, we're still at a pause, right? And we're having to deal with those very uncomfortable places and uncomfortable emotions, and that's okay. So if that means crying, if that means having moments when you're sad, allow yourself to feel that so that it can get out of your system, so that you can begin to or continue to work and walk towards wholeness. I think assigning negative connotations to, or negative value-based judgments to our emotions is a dangerous thing. I think that's a very dangerous thing, because our emotions are in place because there are proper responses at appropriate times. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. I got off on that bandwagon because I saw the crying comment. So if you need to cry, cry. It's okay to cry. All right. I want y'all to be validated. You all are important. I love you all. Okay. So for the month of July, I was saying that I have some dynamic people that are going to be on the show this month. I'm just going to read off a few of the names. Dr. Adam Meadows is going to be on the show. He's a psychiatrist, and I'm in the process of reading his book. And if you all, I would love it if you all could patronize his work and purchase the book and read along with me. He's going to be on in about 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half. I can't remember what date I gave him, but it's a prescription for living with purpose, maintaining hope, healing, and connection as you create the life you were destined to live. He is a phenomenal colleague. I've had the opportunity of working with him, collaborating with him, and I'm so happy that he's going to be on the show. He is also an African-American psychiatrist, and he's here in Atlanta, and it's going to be absolutely great. The month of July is Minority Mental Health Month. So all of that's going to kind of be some of the things that I'm going to focus around. So he's going to be on the show. I'm going to have licensed professional therapist Dion Brown. He's going to be on the show. He is out of Maryland. And we've actually connected through Facebook. Although I lived in Maryland, we never connected when I lived in Maryland, but we've connected through Facebook. And because of our professions, we've shared a lot of things and resources. And he's going to be on the show as well. The video is stopping. It keeps stopping and going. Are y'all having a hard time? Is everybody experiencing the same thing? Let me know if is it stopping? Is the video stopping and going? Is it stopping and going? Let me know. Is it stopping and going? Yes. Okay. I think maybe it's not on my end. Okay. And then last but not least, we're going to have my sister and friend, Dynasty Thomas, on the show. She is multi-talented, multifaceted, but I wanted to bring her on the show. She's a poet. She's also a social worker. She's a creative soul. And one of the things I wanted to do in the month of July is do a show around children and adolescents. I work with children and adolescents all the time. And I actually always have, even functioning when I functioned in the church, it was a lot of it. When I did a lot of work in the church ministry work, it was around children and adolescents. And one of the things that I'm finding in working with them from a clinical perspective now is a lot of anxiety and depression. And so I want to do a show focusing on that, and she's going to be paramount in that discussion. So Dinah Thomas is going to be with us. She's out of DC, and I'm looking forward to her being on the show with us. So we have some wonderful, wonderful special guests that's lined up for July. Please pass the word. Tune in, and you will not be disappointed. All right. Okay, so I have 30 more minutes. That took up some time. All right, so tonight I want to talk about spend a few minutes talking about spirituality and talking about our diets. Um, Once again, if you have any questions that you want to express or any comments or whatever, please put it in the chat. All right. So spirituality, simply put, I wrote spirituality is a way to connect to God. Simple. It's a way for our spiritual being to connect with God, our creator, our maker. And the way that we do that varies. We can do that through prayer. We can do that through listening, not through YouTube. It's not okay. Awesome. Okay, you can do that through prayer, through writing, through listening, going out and experiencing nature, through cooking. Various ways to connect with God. Our spiritual growth is paramount in this time. Why is our spiritual growth paramount? Because it allows us to be grounded. It allows us to focus. It allows us to have discernment. Some people may say intuition. We're in a time where we have to be connected to something higher than us. Because when we look at the world around us, it really does look hopeless. When we look at the world around us, it seems as if people's intentions have become more wicked each day. And so, spirituality, I like to think of spiritual, and I'm not talking about denomination. I'm not here to push denomination tonight. I'm here to encourage us to, let's try it again. Okay. I'm here to encourage us to connect with God. One of the things that I believe, in the word, in the Bible, when God created, when it talks and speaks to God creating Adam and Eve, I believe that he created mankind so that we can have relationship with him. And it's not to be something that is something that is laborious. I know that there are a lot of faiths, a lot of denominations that kind of give the impression that connecting with God is hard and difficult. And I want to suggest that connecting with the Creator is as simple as a conversation. The way that I'm talking to you is a way that you can talk to God. Doesn't have to be hyped, emotional, loud. One of the things that, but I enjoy praying, and people will tell you one of the things I pray loud. I get excited, and I get loud, and woo. And I've had to learn, one of the things that I've learned is I've learned the beauty in listening and how that connects to my spirituality, the beauty in journaling, the beauty in meditation. I know that there are some denominations that steer away from that and don't encourage meditation. But I'm going to tell you, meditation has been such a grounding um, strategy and focus technique for me. And it's something that has helped me to stay connected to God. Reading of scripture, reading of books that will encourage you. It doesn't always have to be scripture, but setting aside time in the morning. Part of reinventing yourself is making sure that you secure that part of who you are. I believe our spiritual self is just as important as the other aspects of ourselves. I believe that with all of my heart. And I believe that this is a time for us to lean back into or to lean into seeking and having relationship with God. I believe he longs for it. He wants it from us. And I think this is a great time to discover what that looks like for you. To discover what that looks like for you, because relationship with God is different for everybody. Does that kind of make sense? One of the things I think that is important in exploring spirituality, spirituality is being intentional about our time with God, just like we would set aside time for other things, time to get our hair done, or time to eat, that we set aside that time for God. Um, One of the things that for many years that I was afraid to do, admittedly, is I was afraid to explore what spirituality looked like for me. I was afraid to question. I was afraid to read things beyond the beyond the Bible. I was afraid that if I took on certain liberties, that God was going to punish me, that I had to live life in a bubble. And meanwhile, I was miserable. And part of reinventing myself was getting to know God differently. Once again, I'm not here tonight to push any specific denomination. I'm here to encourage you to pursue the Creator. Once I got to know the Creator differently, and once I allowed myself to be open, I began to understand God in a whole nother light. And I understood that He was love in a way that I never understood love. And so part of reinventing me has been this journey of spirituality and learning to love myself unconditionally, learning to love myself, flaws and all. Learning to say to myself, I don't have to be perfect. I'm okay just the way that I am. I'm okay. I'm okay missing the mark. How does that sit with you all? I'm just going to pause there for a moment. How does that sit with you all when you hear me say, I'm okay, even when I miss the mark? If I told you that missing the mark and failure was a part of the process and a part of this journey towards wholeness and reinventing yourself, what would you say to that? What would you say? I'm going to sit for a second and wait for someone to comment, because I do want to know your thoughts on that. I'm going to say this. It may step on a few toes, but I think that religion pushes us towards perfection. I believe that religion pushes us towards perfection. And even when we talk about perfection, when I've heard it ever talked about, even in church, I walked away feeling like I had to always dot my I's, cross my T's. I could never mess up. I should always be striving towards perfection. Can I tell you that once, and I'm talking about me, I'm talking about me. Casey says a false sense of perfection. Yes. I'm talking about me. When I released myself from that expectation and when I came to understand that my creator wanted relationship with me more than he wanted me to get it right, that he just wanted me to come to him, it freed my soul immensely. And that doesn't mean that I don't try to do things the right way. That means that I'm not living my life trying and in that bondage, living in that bondage day to day. Because that's bondage. And that, in my opinion, isn't real spirituality. That's religion. That's religion. It's bondage. And I think that in this time, we're experiencing a lot of that. We have these extreme thoughts, it's no balance, no real perspective on how God views mankind. We're pushing our personal agendas instead of teaching people and encouraging people to get to know God. And I think that is what this pandemic is teaching all of us, because you can't go to church like you used to. You can't rely on a pastor like you used to. Crystal says, can I read your statement, Crystal? Because this is powerful. It says, I agree with the statement, but there is resistance in me that doesn't want to live it. And see, that resistance, I believe that resistance has to do with how and what we perceive God to be if we don't get it right. The punishment that we believe that will ensue us if we mess up. Religion is built on extremes. It is. But I think that if we take some of the practices, so here's the balance. If we take some of the practices in religion, it can lead us to authenticity in our spiritual walk and spiritual relationship with God. So if I take meditation and not be religious about meditation, but if I take it and embrace it from a point and a state of freedom, it can benefit me greatly as I'm pursuing and getting to know God. If I take fasting and not do it religiously every Monday, because that's what I'm supposed to do, but really take fasting and use it as a tool to connect to God, I believe that those religious practices then has tremendous power. So then that's the balance that has been the balance for me. Okay. So as we are reinventing ourselves during this time, during this quarantine, my challenge to you is to Set your intention. Be intentional. And that's simply saying, make the decision to reconnect to God if you need to reconnect. If you're not connected at all, challenge yourself to connect with God. If you don't believe, okay, I'm not even trying to push you to believe. I'm going to say this. If you don't believe, go and experience nature. Go and experience nature and take in the elements around you. And I promise you, just by experiencing nature, your heart will change. You'll begin to have faith in something. We're living in a time right now when our faith is diminished. Our hope is crumbling. Our love is waxing cold. We don't pursue relationships with people. We give up. And I believe it's because we don't see ourselves through the eyes of God like He sees us, the purpose that He has for us, the plans that He has for us. We seek the approval of people, of men, of organizations, more than seeking to please Him. But as Casey's saying, Ramadan, you celebrated, you observed that this time with your Muslim friends. Awesome, awesome, awesome. See, that's another thing. You that is huge that you even did that. I've learned so much from. I have a Muslim sister who has gosh, she has taught me. And hear me, because part of our spirituality too is being open to being able to learn from other people who don't do it and practice it like you. I've learned so much from my Muslim sister. She has taught me how to tap into another dimension of my queenness, my femininity, which has helped me to connect to that aspect of God. Because the aspect of God that we push a lot of time has this masculine flair. And God, the way that I know and understand God, God is a spirit. And there's no gender assigned to Him or to God. I'll say it that way. And she has taught me she's taught me how to tap into aspects of God, that aspect of God that I had never experienced before. And it is unleashing another level of freedom in me. She's a Muslim. And a lot of my Christian friends a lot of them think I have lost my mind these last couple of years, and I haven't. I'm very aware of where I am, what's going on in my life, and I've never felt more connected to my Creator. Now it looks different than what people are familiar with and what they're used to and accustomed to seeing from me. But it's a level of freedom. So reinventing ourselves by reconnecting in our spiritual journey. And if prayer is not for you and you can't get down with that, writing, journaling, walking, listening, paying attention to nature, reading, um, cooking. There's so many things that you can do. It's really that simple. And I didn't grow up thinking it was that simple. I'm not watering down the journey either. So please don't take it like that. I'm not watering it down at all. And if I have offended some, I'm okay with that because I want you to take what I'm saying tonight and to ponder it. You don't have to agree. I'm sharing my experience. I'm sharing how I've come to reinvent my spiritual self and the freedom that I have in who I am, and even in embracing others and accepting others. Any thoughts around that? So setting your intention to spend time with God, your creator. What are y'all thinking? I'm looking in the comments. We have a few more minutes. The last few minutes, I'll talk about diet and physical self, and we're going to do an exercise. I want to do an exercise. So if you all can get a pen and a paper, that would be great. Get a pen and a paper. We're going to do an exercise. Anybody have anything that they want to say in the comments? It looks like I'm looking at my numbers and it looks like people are like logging off. That's so funny because I'm looking at it. It says I only have 2 people watching. Oh my goodness. All right. Okay. No one has anything? Okay. All right. Diet and physical self, right? This is probably the biggest nemesis of my journey, reinventing of myself. I have gained, lost weight. It's been since 98. So part of my story is in 98, I had gone on a fast and came off of the fast and lost about 25 pounds and decided I wanted to continue. And I ended up losing that year 125 pounds naturally. Now, most people don't believe I was really huge. And my biggest weight, I was, my highest weight was like 265, close to 270 pounds. And in 90, that was in 98. I've not been that large since. That was my largest, 200 and close to 270 pounds. That was my largest. But weight and health and dieting and eating properly has always been this thing, this back and forth with me. I do good, get down to a size 6, and then I might get back up, and it's like, oh my God, please, please, please. And one of the things that has helped me lately is just accepting the fact that number one, this is reinventing me. This is me reinventing me. Number one, that I love food, that I'm a foodie. All right. I had to radically accept the fact that I love good food. I love to cook. Cooking is therapeutic to me. And I love to have a good time with food. Okay. So wait, that sounded I enjoy eating food. Oh boy. But I enjoy food, okay? And so part of me reinventing myself is learning how to accept the fact that I like food, all right? And giving myself moments where I cheat. People laugh at me all the time because primarily I am a pescatarian primarily, which means that I eat seafood primarily, right? But I also call myself a flexitarian because I say that I will eat whatever my body needs in a moment. So I'm flexible. I don't want the label. So people crack up and laugh and they're like, that's not even, is that really a label? I looked it up one day and sure enough, it really is. You know, there's such things as flexitarian. So one of the things that I've learned in reinventing myself as it pertains to food and dieting. Now, there are some things that absolutely we need to monitor and don't and need to stay away from. Sugar, excessive carbs, bad carbs, soda, um, meats, hardcore meats. Now, I know that if you have like issues with iron, sometimes the best way to consume that heme iron is through beef. So if you're getting beef, then it needs to be lean, it needs to be grass fed, it needs to be the healthy versions of meat, right? But even with now in this pandemic, it's so difficult and so hard to know. And so I've stayed away. I've been trying to stay away from meat during this time. I've been really trying to focus on like seafood. I have turkey or chicken on occasion, but really try to do more seafood and more fruits and vegetables. But I think accepting whatever your flaws are around food or whatever your connection are, because I know for a lot of Black people, food is cultural. That is part of our heritage. That's part of connecting with family. My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. And I remember one year in Maryland, I had a seafood Thanksgiving and I cooked a ton of seafood and it was absolutely amazing. But I realized I love to cook and I love food. So a part of me getting through this journey as it pertains to food is really accepting, first of all, who I am, what I like, and giving myself permission, right? Freedom to, on occasion, to have these things, not to eat it all the time, but to have these things on occasion. All right. So I realize I probably should have had, and I probably will invite someone to talk more in depth about health and diet and even all these other topics that I've talked about. I have some more people come in and talk even more than what I'm doing tonight. But water is key. Y'all listen, it's important that you get your water, that you, whatever your weight is, divide it in half, and that's how many ounces of water you should have. It really, really, really is important to get your water, particularly during this time of this pandemic and the corona. Getting the water, staying hydrated. Please, please, please get the water. Even if you have to put a little crystal light or something in it, make yourself drink the water. Alkaline water is great, is even better. And there's a water that Trader Joe's has. I can't remember the name of the water. Eternal. It's in a blue bottle. It is great water. Alkaline water, you can actually taste the difference. Get you some alkaline water. It does cost more, but it's a worthy investment. Take your vitamins. We need a lot of vitamin D. Black people, we need a lot of vitamin D. Get your vitamin D. Take vitamin C, elderberry. What else am I missing? Oregano oil. Um, keep your immune system built up. Exercise as much as you can. I'm struggling with the exercising piece. That's another thing that's been a struggle for me. But part of reinventing ourselves is also being open and being willing to look at what we eat, how we eat in our diet, all right, and what we're taking in. And I will definitely have someone come on the show, an expert to come on the show and talk more about that. Okay, so part of setting our intention is really, once again, making a decision. And so I want to challenge us as we close out with this exercise. So I hope you have pen. Do you all have pen and paper? We're going to do a sentence completion. Let me know if y'all still here, because nobody has said anything in a while. So let me know if you're still here. Y'all still here? Yes? Okay. All right. So exploring your true intentions. If you have a pen and paper, we're going to do a sentence completion exercise. Okay. So I'm going to read these sentences, and it's designed for you to explore your intentions towards change and towards reinventing yourself. All right. So whatever it is that you want, of the 4 areas that we talked about: relationships with self, others, career, health, and spirituality. Of those 4, I want you to set your intention and figure out which one you want to focus on or which ones you want to focus on. And you're going to do that through this sentence completion exercise. So you ready? So here's the first sentence I want you to complete. I want to learn more about whichever of the 4 domains. I want to learn more about blank because. And I want you to be honest with yourself when you're completing these sentences. We're going to use this process to really discover what our true intentions are. Because if you know what your true intentions are, you can monitor your progress. You can know where you stand and know what you need to work on. Okay. So y'all got that? The first one is, I want to learn about blank because. Okay. The second one is, I am hoping that blank will give me. So remember those 4 areas that these last 2 weeks. I am hoping that blank will give me. Whatever the intention is. All right. Third sentence. Whatever the intention you're setting tonight, that intention is. So blank is, fill in the sentence. Okay. The next one is, if I am more blank, then I will. If I am more blank, then I will. Remember, be as honest as possible when completing these sentences. The real reasons I want to practice blank are. The real reasons that I want to practice whatever it is are. We have 2 more to go. Ultimately, blank will allow me to. Ultimately, whatever you're setting your intention towards, ultimately, blank will allow me to what? And the last one is, when I practice blank, it makes me feel. When I practice blank, it makes me feel. I'm going to read this, what it says. Use this process with any part of your life to help you discover your true intentions. Then set your intention, monitor your progress, and repeatedly check in to be mindful of your attention and adjust your thoughts and actions as necessary to stay on course. So this is one key that I've given you. I've given you several keys from before, but another way that you can reinvent yourself by exploring what your real intentions are towards change. Did y'all participate in that? Yes. Did y'all like that exercise? Somebody tell me if y'all liked it or how y'all felt about the exercise if you completed it. Yes, anybody there? No? I don't know if am I still on? Are you all still able to see me? Yes. No? Okay. All right. Well, I hope you all did participate in that exercise, and I hope that you found like, okay. Okay. Good, Mom. I'm happy you participated in it. I hope other people participated as well. I hope that you found tonight's show enlightening, empowering, and I hope that I said something that was beneficial. I hope that you feel challenged. But I also hope, more importantly, that you feel loved and that as you reinvent yourself, that you do it from a place of unconditional love and acceptance, that you accept yourself first right where you are, and then acknowledge the need for adjustments, acknowledge the need for polishing. That's okay. All right. So I'm with you in this journey. We're reinventing ourselves together. If you have any questions, please, please, please feel free to reach out. My email address is jesera.glover@gmail.com. That's JESAIRA.GLOVER@gmail.com. That is jesera.glover@gmail.com. I do life coaching as well. Life coaching is something that I'm doing online. Right now, I'm not doing therapy online because there's still a part of my licensure process that I have to complete. But I am doing life coaching, and I'm certified as a life coach. So if that's something that you're interested in, please reach out to me. And we can certainly talk about that and make that happen. Thank you all so much. Don't forget to like, share, pass the word. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you all next week, and have a good night. I love you all so much. Bye-bye.